And we're live.
And we're ready to go.
We're live. So, let me make sure I see it on the page here just to verify. A couple seconds behind, probably.
It's okay.
Oh, yep, there it is. Boom.
We could be about a couple seconds behind.
All right, so while people are jumping on for the podcast, for people who are listening to on the podcast, this is the Tommy Frazier. No, this is the Husker Nation.
Husker Nation.
This is the Tommy Frazier Husker Nation podcast, and we are doing this live on Facebook. So for those that want to participate and listen to this live, you can every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. over at facebook.com/touchdowntommy.
Yes. We'll be there. Hopefully to be there.
Hopefully. Well, yeah, we're there now.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing.
All right, and it's playing. Let's see. Now, what's challenging is trying to follow along with the questions the way Facebook does this. So we'll try to do that. But
we'll do the best that we can.
We can. All right.
Nothing's guaranteed, but we'll do the best that we can.
And it sounds like it's technically working better this week than last week, so I can see the audio playing. So
the lighting is better.
The video quality is going to be better because of the lighting. Right? It's nice and clear.
It is. I like it.
So
you stepping your game up.
I'm putting the pieces together.
Putting the pieces of the puzzle together.
All right.
And we even got a helmet on the table.
Oh, I know. I had this helmet in my basement forever. I'm like, hey, why don't I
put it on the table?
Spiff off the table.
Yeah, we got a helmet on the table. We got the Nebraska, Oregon logo on the computer's desktop behind us.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Hey, well,
but just in case,
it's there.
I was there just in case it picked it up. I was like, hey, let's do that. So, all right. Well, we got a couple people on so far, and people are hopping on. So Donovan and Thomas are both on.
It's the day after. It's the day after the game. Day after the game.
Well. For the sake of time right now, what time is it, by the way? Let's see. Okay, it's 10:08, so we got a couple minutes late start. But for the sake of time, we should jump right into it because there's a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, but before we do that, though, I want to, there's two things that's going on today in my world that one is the hurricane down in Florida that's hitting close to where I grew up, so close to my mother, my sister, my dad, my brother down there.
Oh yeah. Your whole family's right. Oh, God, right by Tampa.
Yeah, it's just south of Tampa. So just want to pray for them and have everyone pray for them and wish the best for them. They decide not to leave.
So they're hanging it out?
So they're going to hang it out. And you just talked to my sister yesterday, and they were finished putting up all the sandbags, getting ready to board the windows up. Probably early this morning, something like that. Just going to wait it out. So hopefully they survive it and then nothing goes too wrong down there. There's going to be some damage, but as my dad always says, that he's lived through many of these, that there's no why is this one any different. So we'll see what happens. And
you remember going through these as a kid or anything while you're there? Did you ever experience one?
Yeah, I experienced a couple. It's one of those deals to where if you prepare yourself for it, you never can fully prepare yourself for it, but if you just do the things they say do, if you stay, board your house up, put the sandbags down, make sure you have plenty of water and food because you never know how long the power's going to be out. You could be fine. I still remember times when the eye came over, we were outside playing because the eyes are come as part of the storm.
Yeah.
So with this one, it's 150 miles wide long. So you're talking about you probably got about 3 or 4 hours, maybe longer than that, to be outside playing.
Just hanging out, waiting.
Just hanging out, waiting for the back end to come. So right now they're starting to get a lot of the rains and just hopefully that the people in the state of Florida is protect themselves and the ones that were supposed to got out.
Yeah, it looks vicious.
Yes,
it looks vicious.
And then number 2, today is my sister's birthday. So she's spending her birthday in a closed up house and bunkered up house, and so I want to wish her a happy birthday because I know that's not how she wanted to celebrate. They had big plans for a big dinner tonight and stuff, and now that's canceled. So but those 2 things there, I just want to get that out there, and everyone just pray for my family and pray for the people in Florida right now.
Happy birthday!
Now we can get to the topic that everyone wants to talk about.
Yeah, let's get to the topic because I'm sure people have a ton of questions. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them in the Facebook feed, and I'll grab those as we go and try to ask those as we're talking through this. But
go ahead,
I don't even know where to start.
I don't want to start jumping all over the place.
All right, can we just stick with the first half?
First half, yes.
First half. Let's not even talk about second half yet. First half offense. Or overall gameplay. What do you think? The
first half offense, I thought early in the game, I thought Nebraska tried to go for too many big plays. With the first play of the game, trying to go down the field. I understand the surprise Oregon went down to score, so you're trying to answer it. But I felt right there when Oregon went down to score, and I think I said it last week that if Oregon goes out to answer, Nebraska needs to answer the call. Oregon's going to make some plays early, but if Nebraska answers the call, they're going to have a chance. And I think they tried to go out and respond and answer the call through the interception. And I felt that the ball should have been caught, but also felt the ball was thrown into coverage. So if that makes sense, to where, Stanley Morgan Jr. had an opportunity to catch the ball, and if you look at the replay, that actually helped his helmet. I have a face mask went through his hands off the helmet. But still, though, at that point in time in the game when Oregon just had went down and scored, I think you take the crowd out of the game by getting first downs, and that play right there hurt Nebraska in the first half. And I told you last week, Dan, that if Oregon scores early and often, it's going to be a long day for Nebraska. And it proved to be that way in the first half.
Yeah, first half was definitely painful long. Defensive side of the ball.
Defense, I know people looking at it, it's still, and I said last week, it's still a work in progress. This coaching staff is still trying to figure out what these kids can do. The big thing for me was displeasing to me is that they can't get a pass rush. And that is the reason why they're giving up so many yards in the passing game right now, because they can't get a pass rush. And I wasn't the best thrower in the world, but you let me sit back there all day and get receivers run open, I'm going to hit them receivers.
Yeah.
Until they find a way to get pressure on the quarterback, to get the the ball out of his hand, that's what's going to make Nebraska defense look average or not very good.
Yeah.
And so whatever they're doing, and the guys getting paid $800,000, you got to figure out a way to start getting pressure on people. And when I say don't come back and say we're going to get pressure this week versus Northern Illinois, well, or the week after that versus Rutgers. You got to do it versus the top talent, because you're going to start playing teams that can throw the ball. Wisconsin, Ohio State, Iowa, teams like that, Northwestern, to where you got to start getting pressure on people if you want to get off the field. So right now, Nebraska's losing games not by the run, but by the pass.
So Julian says the QB hurt the team. Oh, it shifted on me. The QB hurt the team. Too many bad decisions. And then they talk about second half, but I don't want to talk about it. But what about Tanner Lee? What did you think about Tanner Lee? At least first half.
First half, I thought he played okay. I thought he missed a lot of throws. He saw him not throwing the ball on balance like he did the first week. And I just thought early on the game plan was for Nebraska just to try to stay close, not do anything to make the big mistakes, and they turned the ball over. And turn the ball over, and I think I sent out a tweet yesterday that we can turn the ball over will kill you every time. And you can't when you're on the road, the one thing you cannot do is turn the ball over if you want to give yourself a chance to win the game. And Nebraska turned the ball over way too many times yesterday. And Tanner Lee, I don't think he didn't look very comfortable yesterday early in the first half. I don't know if he liked the game plan or what it was, but just watching his body language, watching his performance from game 1 to game 2 yesterday, it was totally different in his demeanor. And people say, well, he's calm and cool and collected, but it wasn't the same calm that he had in the first game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I thought first game, I was saying he looked very composed, and he looked like a veteran out there. But yeah, yesterday the first half he didn't look like that at all. But shining something positive out of the first half, I think, was still Trey Bryant. Yeah,
I'm telling you, the guy's a running back. He's a player. The problem with him that I think they're early on they're giving him the ball too much. He carried the ball 20 times yesterday. So you tell me the first 2 games he's got 51 carries. That's a lot of carries for a guy his size. And I know they're saying that he can handle the load, but as I think he got hurt yesterday in late in the third quarter, he has bad knees. The rumors are he has real bad knees, and you got to find ways to take some of the load off of him early in the season, because this is a long football season. Because if his knees are bothering him now, just imagine what's going to happen late in the season. So it's time for them to. I understand I'm not a running back by committee type guy.
Yeah. And
I'm not. I'll be first to say that. But you also got to be smart. If this is your guy, this is your workhorse, you got to be smart early on in the season, because is Oregon game really important? And I say that to a point. Yes, it's important for to win it, but your number one goal right now is to do what? To win the conference.
Yeah.
To compete with the Big Ten championship. And if you feel that he's your best running back, then you got to start protecting him until conference start, and then go from there.
Well, we've seen Wilbon out after Bryant went out, they brought Wilbon. Still no Ezekbo, which is crazy to me. Cause
I think he's hurt.
I
don't even see him. I don't think he's on depth chart.
That's a good question. We should check that. If anybody knows that, post it in here. It'd be interesting to know if anybody knows why Ezekbo is not playing. Because wasn't he was like MVP of
the bowl game.
Yeah, the bowl game.
A couple years ago when they played UCLA.
Yeah, and then we go from that to just nothing. No talk, nothing.
I honestly believe that he's probably not healthy.
Yeah.
Because I think yesterday would have been a perfect game to put him in
I thought so too.
And just let him bat and ram.
Yeah, it would have been a great game for that. But didn't happen. So Randy says, why isn't our defense coached? Why isn't our defense coached? Oh, I see what he's saying. Why isn't our defensive players coached? I try to read this and it shifts because people are posting.
Right.
Why is our defensive coach to look for the ball when defending a pass?
Well, it's
sorry, Randy.
Different ways you can teach that. You can teach it to where you don't turn around till you see the receiver throw his hands up, or you don't turn around at all. I mean, it's based on how people are teaching it. There's nothing wrong with that. Even in the NFL, you see people teaching it that way. The problem is that I'm not going to solely blame the defensive back on everything that happened yesterday, early, because when you're not getting a pass rush, and I challenge anyone, go out there and play corner, and you got to cover for 5 to 6, 7 seconds. There's a very good chance those guys are going to come open, because the quarterback has all this time in the world to sit back there and figure it out. So in order to help the defensive backs, you got to get a pass rush. That's the important. You can ask any defensive coach out there. You can have Deion Sanders on one side, Derek Green on the other side. But if those guys have to cover for 5, 6, 7 seconds, they're gonna get the ball thrown on them, and successfully. So it all falls into place to where defensive back play. You got to get a pass rush in order to help them. And then if you do get a pass rush, then defensive backs got to stop them from catching the ball.
Yeah.
Well, they're not getting a pass rush right now. And so that's why you're seeing in the first couple of games, guys are throwing for 400 yards and 300 some yards against Nebraska.
I forgot what the stat was. I think it was...
They had 400 yards total offense in the first half.
Yeah, between the first two games, it's like there's been over 1,000 yards gained on Nebraska, and I think it was 78 points.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous number.
And so it's just one of those deals where they're still trying to figure it out. But there comes a point in time to where you got to make adjustments. You can't, especially when you see things not working in the first half, you got to have a plan B in the first half. You can't wait to halftime and then say, okay, let's make adjustment. And I think one of the tweets I sent out at halftime, I say, okay, 400 yards in the first half, 42 points. Let's see what kind of adjustments they make. And that was all I said. I didn't go get no huge rant and all this stuff, and then just follow the Twitter and just listen to people talk. It was like, geez, this stuff. I'm saying, no, I'm just making an observation. I didn't, because I could have very well have been one of those guys like, geez, what the work of the world is going on. But I just made it a blanket statement. Let's see what kind of let's see if they can make adjustments at halftime.
Well, there's too much negativity. Second game, a game and a half in the season. I seen the fire Bob statements and well, scratch that. Let's not even go there because that's just.
Well, I seen the same thing too, and I was leaving one of my buddy's house, going to another buddy's house, and then on my way there, he was texting me because I actually left right before halftime so I can get there and watch the second half of this place. And he was all sending up me all these negative texts and all. I mean, just the Nebraska suck and this and that and what's going on and blah blah blah. And I find out and I wait till I stop at the stoplight and respond and say, I'm not coming to your house for negativity.
Yeah.
It says not about that. Then he sent me back, so I'm just venting. I said, I understand that, but I'm not coming there for negativity. I said, I'm coming there to watch a game with people at your house and have fun and enjoy it. But if there's negativity, I'm leaving because that's not why I'm coming there.
Yeah.
I said, I understand what's going on. We see what's going on. But just keep being negative. I'm tired of negative people right now. It's early in the season.
Very early.
How many people truly thought that we were going to beat Oregon this year?
Well, what was it? 15 points going into that game?
It was close, something like that.
15
I even
points,
said last week, I don't think Nebraska's going to win the game. I they can keep it close, but I didn't think Nebraska would win this game.
Yeah.
Because it's on the road.
Yeah.
Nebraska. Tell me the last time Nebraska had played well on the road, early in the season.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
I can't even remember the last time a big game on the road.
Yeah,
season.
So when they come in hostile territory and they struggle, early because I don't think they have the team leaders right now that can keep them fired up, keep them motivated, keep things from falling into place. There's not one guy right now on defense side that when things go bad, still make a play. Just make a play. Not one guy. I think that there's too much robotic. There's been too much like a robot out there to where they're just doing what they're taught. You don't have guys who are willing to take a chance. And that's what great defenses need. People who aren't afraid to take a chance. And they don't have that. Offensively, they don't have that rah-rah, fired-up type guy that's going to get in somebody's face when things aren't going well. They fire a team up. They don't have that. And I think that's what's missing to where until the players start being more assertive about, hey, this is our team, that we're going that this is for us.
Yeah.
Then you're going to see play like this probably for the rest of the year.
Well, Oregon is a fast-moving team. We knew they'd put up some points. We didn't expect or hope it would first half would be the way it did. Donovan says Ezigbo is listed as number 4 due to nagging back injury. So that makes sense.
So that makes sense. So he's injured. That's why he's not playing.
Yeah.
No, I just think that right now, early in the season, I know you're trying to establish a running back. And he's almost 300 yards rushing in 2 games.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, going to Oregon and still putting up over 100 yards.
And before he got hurt at that. Nebraska has a running game. That's part of the game plan. They want to try to be balanced. But I think when he went out, it forced Nebraska, and Nebraska got back, it forced him to throw the ball more. But sometimes you don't need to change your game plan. If you just stay consistent, and every time opportunity you touch the ball, you score.
All right, so let's talk about the second half. Because that's where things got interesting.
Did it get interesting, or did one team take the foot off the brakes, off the pedal, because they knew they had a big enough lead, they felt they had a big enough lead to where they didn't want to make the big mistakes, or did Nebraska force them to play the way they did in the second half? And
that's a great question, because I was going to ask you, because I know I was going back and looking at just some of the highlights. There was a point, I believe it was in early third quarter, mid-third quarter, Oregon ran the ball 8 times straight.
Yeah.
Right up the middle.
So the question, I know people, did Oregon change their game plan because they were taking the lead, saying, hey, our defense is going to play well, or did Nebraska force them to play that way?
Ron said exactly. I think he's agreeing with where you're going with this potentially. So it's a great question, though, because it looks, on stat-wise, it looks like the defense really stepped up the second half.
Yeah, but they did. But here's what I say. They did make tackles. They did get off the field more. And they didn't let them Oregon go down and score.
Yeah.
Until late in the game when Oregon won that 4-minute drive in the fourth quarter. But outside of that, Nebraska stopped the run. But I also looked at it. Oregon stopped throwing the ball like they were. Because they knew, they said, hey, we have a 28-point lead. Well, it was 42-14 at the time.
Let's not risk it.
Let's not risk. Let's not cost ourselves the game. And then Nebraska offensively started making some plays. Started moving the ball, making some plays, and then once you get out of your game plan that you start the game out with trying to protect the lead, it's hard to go back to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with Oregon too, where they got to, when they went to the locker room in 42-14, it was like, oh, this game is over. Nebraska's not going to come out and play hard. And I'd be the first one to say, I thought maybe, hey, this can get real ugly.
Yeah.
Because the Nebraska's down 42-14. This is going to get real ugly because Oregon's not going to change what they do. But Oregon changed the way they call the game. Offensive and defense, Nebraska made plays. And then what I was encouraged about more is how Nebraska didn't give up. Because we've seen teams in the past, when they got down like this, they gave up.
Yeah.
But Nebraska, they kept fighting, they kept battling, and even gave themselves a chance.
They had an opportunity
to go down and tie the game up.
Yeah.
But, like I say, if turnovers can kill you. 4 turnovers killed Nebraska.
I think, but Oregon had 3 turnovers the second half, I think, right?
Second half, but still, though, 4-3, that one, and the one turnover that Nebraska had, Oregon went down and scored off of. The first interception, they went down and scored, put the game up 14-0.
That one killed us.
So right there, the floodgates just opened.
Yeah, it shifted momentum, and it took a lot to climb back out from that. But they did keep fighting. I mean, the whole game, I was really impressed with the fact that they just kept going. I thought the game was done, too. I really, I'm like, holy crap, this could just really get ugly. And the fact that the final score was only a 7-point difference was. I don't think the score of the game was an indication of how the game was played. I agree, but if you didn't watch the game, you just looked at the scoreboard. Right, it's wow, that might have been a good game. It might have been a good game, but yeah, let's face it, that it. I felt Oregon didn't play the second half the way play calling offensively
the way they did the first half.
Kevin said Oregon stopped crossing patterns in the second half. Not sure why, but it made it easier for our defense.
Yeah, I mean, so I think he threw the ball 8 times in the second half. Oregon's quarterback. I think he threw it the ball 8 times in the second half.
There was a bunch of 3-and-outs.
Yeah, so right there, letting you know that they're playing the game not to lose because their defense is playing well. And then Nebraska made some plays, but then Oregon tried to do some things. But once Oregon changed their game plan, it was hard for them to get back on track because I never thought in the world that Oregon would not score any points in the second half. Never thought.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw the first half, I never thought Oregon was going to go have a shutout in the second half.
So would you blame – so there's 2 things there, right? One, hopefully our defense played much better the second half and performed. But 2, it's interesting to see the play calling or the adjustments the coaches made on their side. Mm-hmm. And then once they made those adjustments, probably what you just said, there was no recovery. Like when they needed or felt like they needed momentum again,
right?
It was too late. They couldn't get that swing. And
I honestly believe Oregon helped Nebraska out in that game.
Probably fair statement.
Because with everything out of the first half, with Oregon doing, if Oregon would have played the second half the way they played the first half, they probably put 60-some points on the board. But credit Nebraska that they made the plays that they need to make in the second half. They got some turnovers. They forced some punts. Nebraska went down and made some throws, made some catches, scored 21 points in the second half. They give themselves a chance.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, you can't put yourself in a hole like that on the road versus a team like that.
It just died.
Oh, did our Facebook die? Yeah, there it is. I see the red light back on.
Yeah, it just died for a sec.
The green light, red light.
What are we doing?
Are we back? Are we back? Are we back? Green light, green light.
Come on. Supposed to be trying to. Come on. All right.
We have a little technical difficulty here.
We're
kicked off for a brief second. But are we back on now?
I believe it's back on. I'm just trying to see it on my phone, but I believe we're back. Maybe, no.
Yeah, keep flashing red. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi service.
I'm curious. Oh, somebody said it's frozen. Waiting. Is it still frozen?
Yeah, based off your screen there, the laptop there, it looks like it's still frozen.
Come on. We did so well so far.
Yeah, but we'll be okay. We record this podcast, right?
Yeah, we're still definitely recording.
So we can record podcasts and then continue that way, and then we'll put that on up there if we don't come back. The connection doesn't come back. So it's just one of those deals. Hey, sometimes that's why we try to do it both ways, to where we can record it and then put it out there later.
Yep. So anyway, I was looking and somebody said, "Why is it frozen?" Blah blah blah. Somebody asked, "Oh, that's too generic of a question." Somebody just asked, "What do you think our record would be?" But that's probably we talked about that previously.
We talked about that previously. I mean,
Robert said the Ducks offense seemed to make a lot of mistakes the second half and a lot of vanilla play calling.
I call it more the play calling than I call it mistakes. Because if they would have kept calling the game, because the game that they called in the first half, I don't think Oregon would have made no mistakes. Like I say, I think Oregon in the second half played the game to protect the lead, not because they felt they had a big enough 20-point lead. And the way the defense had been playing, that they felt they weren't going to lose that game. And it just so happens that Nebraska made plays, the defense got out the field, stopped things from happening, and it went from there. We said last week that Oregon is going to score points. And we said that can Nebraska keep up with them? Can Nebraska sustain and keep it close? And if Nebraska would have played when they had the mistakes in the first half, in the second half, if Nebraska would have made the mistakes in the first half, the game probably would have been a lot better game. Now, I know people say, well, they came back, they made the football game late. Yes, they did, which is what I was happy about, because this team didn't quit. They went out and played hard. So maybe this type of game right here, maybe it's a turning point for the program. Because they could have very well easily quit. We saw a couple years ago when they played Ohio State. We saw it a couple years ago.
God.
We saw it a couple years ago when they played Wisconsin. I mean, anytime Nebraska's played in a big game like this and got down early, what happened? They quit. Even last year, Iowa, they quit. They gave up. Well, this team didn't give up.
All right, good news is video's back. Unfortunately, it blinked there, so it kicked some people off, but we're back in business. Yeah, absolutely. That was just last year, Ohio State. They just rolled over us, and the team rolled,
And then Iowa.
The team quit, and then Iowa, and then we went to the bowl game, and
just late. I mean, so
it was good to see that passion and the heart, and I don't know what the driver of that is. I don't know if that's Riley. I don't know if the coach is. I don't see. Just reading a little bit this morning, they said Gifford made a pretty emotional speech during halftime. Mm-hmm. Got people pumped up. I don't know. I don't see it on the field. You don't see a lot of leadership yet. I know it's there somewhere, but you don't see some of the outstanding leadership like you would see in the past. It's not as obvious at least.
And if he made the speech that got him fired up, then there's one of your leaders, because he played hard yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's what goes back to that event. The coaches can only do so much for you as a player. Yeah. They can't. I mean, they can't go out there and make the tackle for you. They can't go out there and make the play call for you. They can't go out and throw the pass for you. They can't go out and make the block for you. So all coaches can do is prepare you and give you an opportunity to be successful. But at the end of the day, once that play leaves the sideline and goes on that field, it's up to the players. It's up to the players to make the plays.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So I know when coaches get a lot of the bad rap, or how can't you not have your team prepared? How can you not have your team ready to play? Hey, coaches, it's not always on the coaches.
Yeah.
Those players got to realize and say, hey, it's our time to shine. We got to make the plays. And early in the game, they didn't make the plays. You could tell they were a little bit nervous. You could tell they were unsettled because of the atmosphere, because of the moment, because of the crowd. First game on the road.
It did look like Husker fans turned out pretty well there.
Oh, they said they had over 15,000 people there.
Yeah, it looked nice. A lot of red at the beginning of it when they panned around. Yeah, 15,000 people. California's nearby.
But there's a lot of people. But there's a lot of people who travel a long ways away from this game.
I had a couple of people that I knew that traveled out there for this, and they were a little weary at the beginning because they had all the fires out there.
Right.
So it's something like they were either going to potentially cancel the game or move the game. And so it was good that they played the game.
I'm glad they played the game, and I'm glad the game went off the way it did. I'm glad to see the tale of two teams, first half versus second half, and I just hope that this builds momentum for next week to where they can come back home and play well and start the conference off with probably two winnable games with Rutgers and Illinois. And then before they play Northwestern, then Wisconsin, Ohio State.
Yeah, they play Rutgers. Is Northwestern right after Rutgers?
No, I think it's Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's the Friday night game.
It's Rutgers, Illinois. Then it goes into Wisconsin, Ohio State, and yeah.
So hopefully hopefully the way they finished the game yesterday, they realized that, hey, if we play the way we played in the second half, first half too, we're going to be a pretty good football team.
So Dalton says I guess he's going to debate you here on this, but he says, I actually believe Nebraska helped Oregon out at the beginning of the game, especially with the first two turnovers that allowed Oregon to score. So I think you mentioned earlier how Oregon helped us out maybe the second half. He's saying, hey, but
once again, it goes back to and to me, I don't see this as a debate. I see it as that when you're on the road and the home team goes down and score and their fans are in the game, a lot of noise, they're fired up, and your first offensive play, you go down and throw an interception, that changed the whole tone of the game. And then of course, Nebraska comes back and responds. But then what happened? Oregon goes down again and score again. And then they go down again and score again. And then Nebraska does something. And see, so Nebraska killed themselves early with turnovers in the first half.
And then they had to dig themselves out of the hole.
Yeah. And because Oregon probably should have beat Nebraska last year.
Yeah. I mean, that came right down to the end of the game.
It came down to the end. Yeah. And look at Oregon going for 2-point conversions. Then they missed 8 points. They missed, 4 points there. Oregon's a good football team.
Yeah.
They got a coach there now who's getting them motivated, getting them fired up. Now, I'm not going to say Oregon going to have make a run at the championship.
No, but
they're going to win. They're going to win more games than they won last year. And they're going to beat some teams.
They very well. The Big 12, the Pac-12, I should say, is there's a lot of good talent up there.
A lot of good talent.
But
But they're going to beat themselves up, I think.
Yeah.
There's too many good teams that can beat each other up.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because I think last week, they all went undefeated last week.
They all went undefeated last week, and then Stanford played USC last night, and USC won that one.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna knock each other out of it.
Yeah. You're probably right.
But Oregon and Nebraska, the whole debate. The bottom line is Oregon to capitalize on their opportunities in the first half, and that's what you're supposed to do when you get home. And Nebraska didn't.
So let's see. Julian says, so why are we playing two teams off the bat that are heavy passing offenses? I don't know if we really. I don't think that has anything to do with the scheduling, does it? Really?
No, I don't think people do. When these games are scheduled, it's based.
I mean, some of these games are scheduled 5, 6, 7 years out.
5, 6, 7 years down the road. So I mean, probably when Arkansas State was scheduled, they had a totally different coach.
I mean,
when Oregon was scheduled, I think they had a different coach, and then they fired a coach, and that's when Heifers came in.
Yeah.
So I think it's not about this guy throwing his team offense. When the games are scheduled, you never know what you're going to get.
I think we scheduled. So we have Oklahoma coming in a few years.
Years, I think 19 and 21.
Yeah, and we scheduled those a few years ago too.
These schedules are usually made 5 to 7 years out. Non-conference, in conference, the conference control the schedule there.
Yeah.
But non-conference is where Nebraska has the opportunity to go out and book this team, book that team, book this team, book that team to fill out their non-conference schedule.
And we have I don't know if I think it's a 10-year deal in place. The Big 12 and the Pac-12 or the Pac.
I don't know if that's true or not, but it could be.
There's an agreement in place. I don't know how long it is for, and essentially every team in the Big 10 will play a Pac-12 team.
Pac-12.
Every year. So that's why we've seen us who was it last year? UCLA was it UCLA? What did we just play? Or before Oregon?
It was Oregon last year.
And then before that it was what, UCLA?
Well, that was a bowl game though.
There was somebody before.
It was with Bo Pelini. They played UCLA.
But after, so there's Oregon, there's Colorado coming up. I think there's supposed to be.
I think Colorado's next year.
Yeah. So I think for the next 10 years, there's a deal where we're supposed to play in our out of conference. We're supposed to be playing a Pac-12 team every year.
Okay, well, it could be true. Then I never.
Yeah, I don't remember the logistics of it, but I think that's coming up. So Randy says, is this a lack of talent or a lack of coaching that we're seeing on the field? I'm assuming he's talking about the defensive side of the ball specifically.
Well, I think we're lacking talent in some areas, and one is the defensive line. I know. And we can go back, Dan, when we did a show earlier this year, and it said switch it from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Do you have the defensive lineman that can do that?
Yeah.
And that's I
remember you talking about that.
The first thing I said.
Talent and speed.
At defensive line.
Yeah.
Then you look at the linebacker core, and there's nothing against anybody on the field, but I thought we were outmatched in slot with the slot receivers when it comes to linebackers trying to cover someone in the slot. Or tight end, because there's several times to where they pulled a guy in the slot and the guy just ran a straight seam down the middle of the field and the linebacker could chase and catch him, and so that can be part of it. I just think that for what the talent that we have on this team right now and running the 3-4 defense, it's probably not best suited. But when you make that change, you got to stick with it, and now you got to go out and recruit kids that fits.
Yeah,
you got to get the ones that you have on the team now better at playing it. But you also got to not go out and find guys that can get rush-ins. That's where, to me, rush-ins is what they really need. Because I see teams that run a 3-4 defense and they get pressure with a rushing the defense and the defense that makes the play.
Yeah.
And I go back and look at Randy Gregory.
Yeah, that's exactly what
this guy was double teamed all the time, but he still got to the quarterback. He still made plays. He still got pressure on the quarterback. We don't have that guy that can get to the quarterback. And so how do you get to the quarterback? You blitz. Well, I think we're afraid to blitz because we know that Oregon is I thought we were afraid to blitz the last first Cougar game because they knew that if they blitz, guys would be running over field wide open. So I think they try to play more of a zone type defense. I know yesterday I saw them playing a lot of two man, to where it was man underneath, had two deep safeties playing half field, and everybody else played man underneath. And so I just think they're still trying to figure out what these guys can do. But until they get pressure on the quarterback, and that's what I want to see the biggest improvement in this team. It's pressure.
It was zero pressure.
There's been no pressure.
Games. Yeah.
And when you get no pressure, you get thrown for, get 500 some yards total offense on your first game and over 500 some total offense in the second game.
Yep.
That's not good.
All right. You ready to run through just a few more before we call it good?
Yeah, let's run through a few more.
Before he runs too gets late. Robert wants to know, is Bob's calls Let's see. Do you think Bob's calls coverage that are too soft for the wideouts?
No. When you're not getting pressure, your number one goal is to keep the ball in front of you when you're not getting pressure.
Yeah.
Now, if you're getting pressure, now you have opportunity to play tighter simply because you know that, hey, you can run from a while. But if you're not getting pressure on a guy and you play him man-to-man, you don't want to see a guy run up and down the field wide open. So you got to play. You got to play a coverage based on what you're getting from up front.
Joy asked about Ezigbo again. He must not have been on earlier. He supposedly has back issues, so he's not playing. Steve, why do we wait until halftime before we make any adjustments?
I think that hit on the night. It's hard to make adjustments when the game is going on. You go back and look at any coach. Yes, you have a plan A, you have a plan B. Sometimes you have plan C and D.
Yeah.
But when you're out there in the heat of the moment, your job is to say, okay, I got to make sure I can't call it when you call a certain play and it doesn't work. Okay, I got to make sure I can't call that play again. You make it, but then when you go into the locker room and you draw it up on the board, then you can see, well, how come this play is not working? It worked in practice. How come it's not making it work? Well, maybe this guy's too quick. Maybe this guy's missing the block. Maybe this guy's too quick. Maybe they call him better. Maybe they put up a different defense and they show versus this formation. So that's why you see a lot of the breakdown and adjustment happen at halftime, because now you can go to the drawing board and say, okay, what are they doing to us that we didn't think they're going to do? Because the other team on the side of the ball, they have a game plan too.
Yeah.
And it was the second game of the season. So from the first game to the second game, how much did Oregon show defensively that they didn't show in the first game? And how much did Nebraska show offensive defense that they didn't show in the first game? So that's the type of stuff that when you got to make adjustments, that's what you look at. And I'm pretty sure Oregon did some things on tape yesterday that they didn't show on tape.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Nebraska did some things that they didn't show Oregon in the first game. So it's a chess match. It's chess. It's not checkers, it's chess.
Who did you like? Who are the stars that you've seen on the field for Nebraska yesterday? Who'd you think?
I thought the receivers eventually stepped up and made some plays.
So yeah, Stanley Morgan.
I also thought they had a couple of drops.
Stanley Morgan.
Yes, I thought early in the game playing on third down and it's taking me back to last year. You're going for the deep ball.
Yeah.
On 3rd and 7, right there. Get the first down. Keep the defense off the field. Let them rest. Let them get the whiz back. But if you're 3rd and 7, you throwing a deep ball.
Yeah,
now the defense back on the field, and so offense can help in that to get first downs, get first downs. Wear Oregon's defense out, because the first half Oregon's defense wasn't on the field at all.
No, they were fresh.
They were fresh.
Yeah.
Now in the second half, Nebraska wore them down, so they started moving the ball. But get first downs, and when the game is like that, your job offensively is get first downs. Get first downs.
Yeah, Stanley Morgan looked good. Personnel was up and down. He had a good play or two in there.
The bottom line is that they have the ability.
Yeah,
they have the ability offensively. They just gotta stick with the game plan and stop. It still kills me 3rd and short or 3rd and this. They're going for a deep ball. That just bothers me. 2nd and 7. 2nd and 7. Sure, go for a deep ball. Fine.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, now you got 3rd down. But the key when the game is getting out of hand like that, not try to score all the points right away. Get first downs. Help your defense out. When the defense is struggling, the best person on the best side of the ball can help you also by going out, moving the ball up and down the field.
I like when they go downfield, maybe 2 times a game. Like they take a couple of random shots downfield.
Right, but it seems like every.
But when it does seem like it's frequent. Like we are taking a lot of shots downfield.
Right. Well, what have we really done to where it's going to say, you know what? Wow, we should be taking deep shots. With this offense, is a play action, deep ball type play. We got a running game. Pound, run. Yeah. Get those guys coming up, try to stop the run. And when they do that, then you go over top. And we're not doing that. We're trying to throw the ball 3rd and 7, throwing it vertical to a guy who's probably never covered.
Let's see. Carl's watching from Texas.
Thank you, Carl.
Good deal. Hopefully you didn't get hit by all that rain or recovering. Tanner wants to know, we kind of talked about this, I think, even last week. Should Bob be on the sideline to bring the passion to the team?
It's everyone's different. You know, it's one of those deals where it's all about feel. I know some coordinators can see things better if you don't trust his staff.
Yeah,
they see things better when they're upstairs. Now, if you have a great staff that you trust, you can be downstairs and they can relay to you exactly what they're doing and how it's doing. Then, Coach Osborne was always on the field. He called every play. Coach Osborne called every play, but he had Frank Solage and Milt Tenopper upstairs who can see, because they've been with so long to where they say, Coach, no, you can't do that again. You can't run that formation. You can't do this. And he trusted them, listened to them. You know, just like with Charlie McBride. He had guys upstairs that he trusted to lead, like George Darlington and Tony Samuels. Those guys up in the box, they were relaying, Coach, this is what they're doing to us. We got to change it. Because when you have a staff that work together for so long, you kind of know what each person's thinking.
Yeah.
Well, this is still a relatively young staff. Offensively, I don't see that. I think they're pretty much
They seem to be clicking there, at least talking well.
They're talking well and making adjustments somewhat. But defense, when you have 4 new coaches in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The only one that's still the same coach is Bray, the linebacker coach, but everybody else is new from the first staff to now. I don't think there's I don't think the defensive coordinator truly trusts they're going to relay him the right information. So that's probably why he's up in the box.
Makes sense.
That's just the way I see it. And I could be totally wrong. To maybe he wants to be down and might say no, you don't want you up in the box because of his fiery passion. I don't know, but at the end of the day, most coordinators want to be up to where they can see everything. Yeah,
that makes sense. To me, it does at least. Frank, we're not going to answer your question.
Why? Well, why?
Because he wants to know. Because it's not needed. Oh. He wants to know if it's time for a new head coach. And everybody in the feed, a bunch of people said no in the feed.
What is the problem with people these days? It's college football. It's early. Come on, people. It's not like you're gonna lose your life over this. It's not like the world's gonna end over this. It's 2 games in the season. Nebraska's 1-1. Ohio State is 2 games in the season. They're 1-1, and they didn't look very good at all last night. Okay. Auburn is 2 games of the season. They're 1-1. Texas A&M is 2 games of the season. They're 1-1. Yeah. People are still early.
It's just a different game, and there's a lot of. It's taken me a long time even to let go of what the history was. Right, we had a dominant football team, but it was also a different game at that time.
It was a different game. It was different recruiting. So when people say it's second game of the season, start firing a coach. Yeah, that's the type of garbage, and I'm gonna call it a type of garbage that makes college football looks bad. It does. Yeah. Do you not have anything in your personal life that can make you not want to fire someone? How would you feel if someone comes to your job and say, "Oh, well, you know what? If you're sales, well, you're down 2 weeks in sales. You didn't look good, so we're gonna fire you." It's their job, their livelihood, and for someone to sit here and say, "Well, is it time for a new head coach?" Why is it time for a new head coach? Oh, because they didn't win the Oregon game. How many people truly thought Nebraska was going to win that game? I didn't think they were going to win that game. Yeah. Even when we began the season, we went down and say, okay, what are the sure games you think Nebraska win? What are the ones like a toss-up? And Oregon was one of the games we thought was going to be a toss-up.
But we've also talked about I hate to say the lack, but the talent the talent in this team is not what it used to be. I hate to even say it that way. I don't mean it that way, but it doesn't. Let me rephrase that. The talent doesn't always match up with what Riley's game plan is. And now that he's starting to get his player, we see what's happening on the offense.
You see what's happening.
So now we got to let Bob do what he needs to do on the defense.
Right. And so that's why from now, if someone comes on here, now I'll see if it was in week 8 and Nebraska's 3-5. And now of course, the true questions are, is it time to start looking at leadership? But game 2?
Well, in fairness, I lost my freaking mind when I was a bad guy when Nebraska played UCLA. When you were down there to get your holy crap! When did I lose my mind that game? That was, I think, the second game. But
it had been a history.
But it was also
of not making adjustments.
Several years
not making adjustments and doing the same thing. And and so, but they had a winning season last year. Did they not? Yeah. In his second year. Playing with guys that he didn't necessarily recruit, but playing with guys that he inherited and trying to make them. Now he has his quarterback in here. Okay, the offense is not looking bad. Yeah, defense is going to be some work because you switched the whole defensive scheme for the guys who have been recruited to play a certain defense. Now they're playing this defense, so it's a learning curve for them. But for anybody to come right now and say it's a time to look for a new head coach right now, They must be real bored with their life.
But we still love you, Frank. Keep watching.
Oh, yeah. But I just think that this twist, Mike Riley's not going anywhere.
There's a lot of people that are just caught up in that, I don't want to say hatred, but they're just so sick of what they're seeing on the field some games. When we went to halftime, I was not happy, right?
Nobody was happy.
Like, are you kidding me? We're about to get blown out. So no matter what happened at the end, I'm just appreciative that they came back and the score is what it was. I wanted to win, but Jesus, the fact that
I want Nebraska to win every game, but you got to be realistic.
Yeah,
Nebraska's not going to win every game. Not with this team. Now, can they compete for the Big Ten championship? It's going to be tough. But I think there's maybe one or two games that they're going to play and like, they're not going to win these games. They're not going to win these games. Wisconsin, I think if they come out and play well, they can win that game. Wisconsin doesn't look like a barn burner to me. Now, they're a very good football team. They don't make the mistakes. They do but I think they win that game. Iowa, from what I saw yesterday, they can beat Iowa at home. Yeah. The two games I think Nebraska right now probably won't win is Ohio State and Penn State. Because Penn State's on the road. And Ohio State, well, I think they just have way too much talent. And they lost last night, but Oklahoma has talent too.
All right, last question, because we're just running forever. And by the way, Frank said thank you for your answer, so very cool of you, Frank, to take the criticism. And people watching from Wisconsin. What was that last question? We got one more question I was just going to touch on. Just any of your thoughts about Friday night games?
I'm not a fan of Friday night games. I think Friday night games should be for high school.
And which was huge where you came from, right?
So like here in Nebraska, there's some teams that play on Thursday night.
Yeah.
And there's some that play on Friday night. And the reason why that happens is simply because of there's like in Millard, they all share the same home field.
Yeah.
And so if they got two teams with two home games, so you got to figure out what time and stuff. But for me, where I grew up, it's very rare that you saw the varsity game on a Thursday, unless weather made you shift the game. Like I know a couple weekends ago, they had a bunch of bad rain in Florida. And so instead of playing a game, one game was canceled. They're not going to make it up. But one team moved the game from a Friday to a Saturday. And then one team moved from a Friday to a Monday. So they can still get the game in. But usually it's Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights high school. And because high school only get one night to where fans can go to the high school game, and then Saturday, go to college game. But now when you're starting to throw in college games on a Friday, especially like Nebraska,
yeah.
Now you're telling fans they got to choose, and I don't agree with that. Friday nights growing up has always been high school football. Thursday and Saturdays has always been college.
Yeah.
So I don't like Friday night games. I think it's the dumbest thing to do, but I understand why they did it, for money.
It's a money thing.
It's a money
play.
It's a money thing. And of course it helps teams like Illinois and the teams that are Purdue.
I think we're playing Rutgers on a Friday night. Or is it Illinois?
No, we're playing Illinois on
Friday night. So we're playing
on the
road. So there's a Friday. So there's a Friday night game, but otherwise Illinois probably would not see TV too much.
No,
maybe
Big Ten
Network.
Big Ten Network,
Yes. So otherwise we wouldn't see them on the road. So
I think that game is going to be on Fox with the whole Fox Sports 1 package that we have with the Fox package.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the reason you guys got to play some games on Friday.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either necessarily. I don't do a lot of high school ball, although my high school team is absolutely dominating right now.
Mm-hmm.
Playing very well.
Who's that, Millard North?
No. Millard, no. I'm a North High guy.
I know. I'm messing with you.
Your buddy Damon's over there.
Damon's
right?
there. Larry Martin's there. Lonnie Brazil's there. So I got a couple guys on the staff.
They're dominating right now. Like they got something going on down there.
They have something going on, but I still think Bellevue West. They're looking good. Bellevue West, and even Lincoln High.
I don't know about Lincoln High.
Lincoln High is doing it. They have they can put some points on the board now. They can put some points on the board.
Gonna get interesting. But I don't go to very many games like Friday nights. Friday nights for me is really
family time.
It's family, right? It's kids, it's this, and then Saturday's like, all right, game day, and then Sunday's a combination of this and family time, and depending on who's playing, I'll catch the ball. I'll catch some of the NFL games.
Right.
Although the region we're in, I hate most of the games they put on this region. So,
right.
But even now they're doing NFL on Thursday nights. I'm not a big fan. Those games usually aren't very great.
Well, the first one was a good matchup, and the Chiefs and the Patriots. Well, usually it's teams that aren't winning very many games. But me, I'm not a big NFL guy. I'll watch it, but I don't take my Sundays and go to the bar with my laptop and have my fantasy team and then get mad because this guy. I don't do that. You know, I might watch him, be on the couch watching one at home, and I might fall asleep and wake up like.
I love the dynamics of college because it's just like.
The atmosphere is more exciting.
It's the atmosphere. Every team has the flux. I mean, you don't go to the. I mean, there's variables, but like you can go see a team run the option and a pro style,
right.
and like there's so big differences between teams and town. Although it is starting to get to the point, I worry that money's going to ultimately dominate. Right, where you're going to have teams that have more money that are making a lot. Like we got the Ohio States, the Alabamas, and because of that, they're going to be able to staff up and provide all the. The resources that a Northern Illinois and some of these other colleges aren't.
That's why they call them Power Fives.
Yeah, well,
that's why the Power Fives are running everything.
Yeah, but
because they're bringing all the money into college football.
Do you think Purdue will ever have an opportunity to put up a football team or a dynasty?
They did when they had Joe Tiller. When you forget when they had Drew Brees, they had a good.
They did then, but now it just seems like
I think there's a lot of parity in college football. To where if you get the right coach at the right university who can go out there and recruit the kids and get them to believe in the university, I think any school can be good.
If they're willing, I agree with you, if they're willing to put money behind it. Significant, like Baylor.
For a perfect example, Baylor. When we were there, they didn't want to put money in the program. But then once they realized that, hey, we got something special here, Art Browse got there and they started putting money, Baylor became real good.
Because isn't fair to say, I guess what I'm getting at, it's not necessarily just the coach. It is the facilities, it's the resources, it's the staff that supports that coach.
But who gets all that started? The coach.
I can't argue with that.
Look at Wyoming.
Well, my daughter played.
Wyoming's a perfect example the program never got any state funding.
Yeah.
But when last year had a successful season, now they bill them in indoor practice. They put money, but they support him now.
Yeah.
So it goes to show the coach, if he goes in there and builds it, then the university, wait a minute, we got some going. We need to start upgrading our facilities. That's what happened at Baylor. That's probably going. If Purdue goes out and continues and builds, they're going to realize that, hey, we're getting $50-some million a year from the Big Ten. We got to start allocating some of that money to build our football program up. Why? Because the football program at every university makes the money.
Yep.
Makes the money. So even though they only play 9, 8, 7 home games sometime, when you're talking about Oregon's ticket yesterday, I thought it was $175 a ticket.
Yeah.
With 50,000 people in the seat, 52,000 people. Figure that math out.
It's not a bad business.
It's not a bad business. So that's why football gets pretty much what they want. Because if football program is successful and you're getting people in those stands, that means there's more money being made for that program. Ticket sales.
Fully agree. Love it. All right. We ran pretty long.
That's okay. But we got to remind them next week we're going to try something new. Facebook Live.
Are you traveling next week?
I'll be in
next week?
Yeah. So we got to try something new.
All right. So next week, we might have more technical difficulties.
Right.
Actually, this week really worked really well until my phone crapped out for a minute there, which caused a little glitch and we had to restart it. But next week, where are you heading to?
Oklahoma.
So you'll be in Oklahoma. So we're going to do Facebook Live. We're going to still do the live at 10 a.m., but the difference is you're going to be remote. We're going to do it remote. So it'll be something a little different. So we'll see how that plays out. For those that didn't listen to this, or if you want to hear the whole thing in the entirety, the podcast will be out later today. It'll be on iTunes. It'll be in Google Play. It'll be all over the place. You can listen to the entire thing. I'll also put these two videos together, and it'll be up on YouTube, so you guys can watch it on YouTube as well. What else am I forgetting?
That's it. That's about it. Just follow us on
Facebook. We're trying to add more content. You'll see more content on a regular basis. And then game day. Like, I thought yesterday was a blast on Twitter. I just seen all types of people posting crazy stuff. So it was actually, it wasn't, I didn't see a lot of the complaints and fire this and fire that. Like, it was actually people having fun with the situation somewhat. And then when Nebraska came back, there was a lot of encouraging things and words. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm going to leave with this. I was very excited to see them come out in the second half and not give up. Go out there and play like they still had a chance to win the game. I was happy to see that.
Me too.
That was a change from the past.
No, absolutely. Reminds me of that game. When was it? About 4 or 5 years ago. We played Ohio State and we came back. We were down by 28 points. It was a Bo Pelini game, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a night game, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it was a night game, and Nebraska came back. Now they were down by, I believe it was 28 points, and came back to win.
Yeah, at home. It was a home game.
It was a home game. Yeah, and I was like, holy crap! Like I haven't, so it does happen. This team has some heart. It looks like, so it'd be great to see. When do you leave?
Saturday.
So
Saturday morning.
Maybe Thursday or Friday, maybe Friday sometimes, we should do the Facebook Live and you give your kind of talk. We'll give your predictions about this weekend's game. And if it craps out, it craps out. But if it works, then we'll have something on here that people can see your predictions on there. We didn't talk about this coming weekend.
Yeah, we do that. We'll do it Wednesday or Thursday.
Test it.
Thursday. Yes, yeah.
Test this thing. All right. Any last words?
Till next week.
All right. How do I stop this thing?
Bye.
Just kidding. Just kidding.